And can you feel the energy in this arena after the starting lineup for just now? It's a playoff atmosphere. We'll be back with it in just a moment. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this Game 3 of the playoffs on 2K Sports. Kevin Harlan here with Greg Anthony and Clark Kellogg, and our sideline reporter is David Aldridge. DA, it's all yours.
Thank you, Kevin. Paul George has shown over the years that he remains one of the most versatile stars in the league. He said, I pride myself on being effective on both ends.
David, he clearly is a special talent, and his resume shows it. Thank you. Now the starting group for the visitor. Jaylen Brown out there with Ben Simmons, and it's Nikola Jokic. Then there's Jimmy Butler, and it's Leonard in at the four-man position. And for Boston, LeBron James is out there with Wood. Then it's Paul George. Then it's Clint Capella. And it's Irving at the point. Take a look at the Warriors. They've had some tough battles, Greg. Fatigue may be a factor at this point.
True, but as a player, this is what you train and work for all year long, knowing that when you get to this time of year, you'll be ready.
Here's Leonard following the basket by Kyrie Irving. 13 feet away. Leonard, no luck. And so it's Irving with it, bringing it up for Boston. Clock at 4. There's the drive. Takes the 12-footer and hits.
Irving has the touch needed to do damage from just about anywhere, including from there.
Leonard on the wing. And that one, good.
Just such a well-rounded offensive player. He's got a little bit of everything.
George with the ball. Leonard picks him up. Just over a minute and a half played here in this one. Passes to Jokic. And he's fouled pretty hard on that shot, but he's got the chance to pick up the points at the line. That's on Clint Capella.
That's a nice job by Jokic getting fouled in the act. We know he's going to cash in this time.
First trip to the free throw line for him in this one. Free throw, good. Jokic.
Not sure if anybody has a better feel for the game than the man standing at the line. Jokic, an elite company in that respect.
Now George. Wood a screen on Butler. George passes to Wood and finished off by Wood.
Man, what a pass that was there. He really, really relishes making the game easier for his teammates.
Here's Leonard. Takes it off the glass. Leonard's got his second basket.
Talk about someone who knows all the angles. Kawhi on the interior.
Irving kicks to George. And there's a foul that goes on Jimmy Butler. That's his first foul. And now the first timeout called here for Boston. They won in their last outing, Saturday's game.
And you've got to love a team that can maintain its composure on the road. Take good shots and knock them down with confidence.
Well, efficiency is critical, and I love how they ran their offense and got quality shots out of their sets.
Howard's checked in for Boston. Josh Richardson comes in for George. Then for the Warriors, Grant, he's checked in for Jokic. And it's P.J. Washington in for Jimmy Butler. He gets that one.
Speed and power and the ability to finish with both hands make LeBron James's drives deadly.
Leonard against Irving. Left side, Leonard. And that'll be 2 free throws coming up. Officials on the call with the foul. It's going to be on Kyrie Irving, and he's got his first free throw of the game. And the first one at the line is good.
You know, it's easy to see why Leonard is so dominant as a defender. If you've ever seen the man's hands, the claw nickname is not an exaggeration.
Both free throws good from Kawhi Leonard.
And what an advantage. You really feel like you can always trust him when he's at the line.
Irving passes to James. Richardson outside. Howard setting the pick for Richardson. Driving inside. It's hauled in by Brown.
Not a problem when that's your first miss of the game. Strong start.
Outside, Simmons. Grant dishes to Leonard. There's a screen by Washington. Leonard with the bucket.
Kawhi Leonard.
LeBron with it. Pass to Richardson. Brown against Irving.
2 minutes remaining in the first. 2 minutes.
Howard with the screen on Brown. Just 5 on the clock. Here's Wood. And the rebound goes to the Warriors.
Boy, he knows he should have knocked that one down, especially with the defense not giving much of an effort.
No good from Simmons. Richardson up top. Guarded by Simmons. Richardson the pass to Irving. Howard setting the pick for Irving. And good that time. Irving's got 6.
Knifing through the defense like warm butter on a biscuit. Irving knows how to get to the rim.
The loudest and craziest fans get a free t-shirt. Let's hear it, fans. Get ready for the Death Squad.
Is this shit working now? I have no idea.
So Boston going with almost an entire new group. Clint Capella, he's checked in for Howard. Cole comes in.
Oh, it's working. Thank God I can hear myself on the
He's
screen.
checked in for LeBron.
Jesus
And
Christ.
George is subbed in for Richardson. Now here's Grant. That's in, coming off the assist from Jokic.
The superb work ethic.
All right, here we go.
What a nice soft touch inside.
Paul George matched up with Jimmy Butler.
George against Butler.
Yes, it is me. Thank fucking God. Paul George for 3. No good. Nikola Jokic takes it down. Going up the court. Finds itself in the hands of Josh Giddey, covered by Kyrie. Jeremy Grant for 3. It hits.
Grant's got his second basket of the night.
Well, I tell you, I like the fact that.
Oh, I'm just fucking glad the microphone's working. Dear God.
For quality. He senses the defense is playing off him. As the pass is coming to him, he's prepared. He's getting shot ready as the pass is in the air.
Paul George for 3 now, and that one goes in. It's only a 2-point game now. And now Nikola Jokic trying to find an opening here. It goes to Jimmy Butler, covered by Paul George.
7-second difference.
Jimmy Butler gets the screen, but Paul George sticks with him. Passes to P.J. Washington, out to Josh Giddey. There's only 3 seconds left, and Giddey makes it work. And now it is 17-13. Kyrie Irving trying to get the last shot. He's got 3 seconds left. It hits. It's a 1-point game. And it looks like, and Giddey goes for the last shot. No good. 1-point game, ending the first quarter. Heading into the second, Pyongyang leads 17 to Boston 16. No one cares, LeBron. I'm sorry, but this is the final. Let's fucking go. Kawhi Leonard's going to inbound it, and Jimmy Butler's going to take it up the court. Paul George waiting for him at the top of the key. Screen from Jokic. Jimmy Butler caught up by Paul George, goes to the hands of Ben Simmons. Jokic with a screen. He runs into the traffic. He goes for it. No good. And LeBron James comes away with the rebound. Jordan Poole has it now. Out to LeBron. LeBron going against Jokic. And he cannot hit a shot. Jimmy Butler is going to take it. And then it goes to Ben Simmons, who, being the coward he is, will not shoot that three. But he's going to go and pass to a wide-open Jimmy Butler, who drains a three. Pyongyang is now up by 4. Paul George looking to answer here. Gets a screen from Christian Wood. No good. Jimmy Butler sticking to him. Christian Wood now passes out to Capella. Jordan Poole against Jaylen Brown. A screen from Christian Wood. Poole runs into Ben Simmons. And good defense from Simmons. Jokic comes away with it. Kawhi Leonard tries to find his opening against Clint Capella. Ben Simmons now has the ball, trying to drive into traffic. He's against Jordan Poole. Christian Wood with the late help, but it doesn't matter. Ben Simmons makes it go. It is now a 2-possession game in favor of Pyongyang.
Nice recognition and adjustment by Simmons.
Now Paul George trying to make something happen. Boston has not been able to score, and that drought will continue. No, it's a shooting foul against Jokic. Paul George will be going to the line. Paul George with the first free throw. It's good. Finally ending that drought that Boston was going through. Now Paul George is going to try to get the second point. He gets it. 4-point game.
Really like the balance they've shown.
Bursting onto the scene during the
Kawhi Leonard wants Christian Wood on his own. He's going for the ISO, and Christian Wood stops him in his tracks. He thinks better of it. Ben Simmons has his shot going against LeBron James. It goes out to an open Jaylen Brown, a late contest from Christian Wood, but it does not matter. It's a 3, 25-18. Boston needs to get something going here. They do not want Pyongyang to have a commanding lead going into the second half. There's still plenty of time, just under 4 minutes left. Paul George against Ben Simmons gets some room, but it doesn't matter. Ben Simmons with a great contest. Nikola Jokic to Ben Simmons. Kawhi Leonard wants to post up LeBron James. Goes to Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons against Capella. He tries to reset. Passes to Jaylen Brown. But good move by Jordan Poole, closing up for it's too late. But the screen from Jokic leads to a Jokic three. No good. Paul George pulls down the rebound. Boston with an opportunity here to try and make it a 2-possession game again. Paul George against Jaylen Brown, and it works out. Pyongyang calls a quick timeout. It is a 5-point game with just over 3 minutes left in the half. Boston wants to defend their home court and finally end the curse. Pyongyang wants another championship, but only one can come away with it.
Dwight Howard, he's checked in for Capella. Richardson comes in for George. And Irving subbed in for Jordan Poole. Grant is checked in for the Warriors.
And it looks like Boston has most of their starting lineup back out there, with the exception of Dwight Howard at the center spot. P.J. Washington with a mismatch on Kyrie. Too easy for P.J. Washington.
Plays it up and banks it in.
Washington brings
LeBron James going to orchestrate the offense on this play. He wants to ISO. No, he does not. Christian Wood, but he doesn't pass to Wood. Questionable decision from LeBron, but he gives it to Dwight, who has an easy look for 2. Kawhi Leonard with a mismatch against Kyrie Irving. How do you let that happen? He just walked into that mismatch, and Kawhi Leonard, too easy. Kyrie is too little to guard the claw.
Not afraid to get visible there.
But now it looks like Uncle Drew wants to answer back. Never mind, he gives it to Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard at the top of the key is a choice, I guess. But Kyrie gets an open 3, and it hits. It's a 4-point game now. Kawhi Leonard wants to go against Kyrie again. Why does Boston keep letting Pyongyang get this matchup? It is too easy for too easy for Kawhi, and Christian Wood with a late contest can make it difficult, but doesn't matter. That's Kawhi Leonard we're talking about. Kyrie Irving. Oh, no, Blue Devils call a timeout. That might have been a smart choice, because if they keep letting Kawhi Leonard go against Kyrie Irving, this is going to get real bad real quick. Boston worked hard to steal home court in Game 2. Are they going to lose it just as soon as they got it here in Game 3?
He's checked in for James.
Clint Capella, pass to Paul George. Kyrie Irving is being covered by Josh Giddey. That has been a favorable matchup all series, especially in Game 2. Kyrie Irving gets a screen from Clint Capella. The screen barely does anything, but Kyrie still wants to take it against Jokic, and Giddey doesn't work. Capella with the rebound, passes back to Kyrie, and Kyrie misses the shot. Josh Giddey to Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler surveying the floor. He gives it to Nikola Jokic. And we get a screen. Jokic trying to get it. He's going in, and there it is. An 8-point lead for Pyongyang now. Boston needs to get something going to end the half, or this could end with yet another loss. And Boston does not want to be in that position where they have to beat Pyongyang on their home court again. And Nikola Jokic with a questionable foul there. But in the end, it's just an inbound, so I guess it doesn't really hurt Pyongyang too much. Though it does give Boston another chance to reset their offense, and it doesn't work. Paul George smoking probably the easiest layup of his life. Jimmy Butler gives it to Josh Giddey, who wants to do some work on Kyrie Irving. Jokic gets the screen. Giddey with an open lane, and Capella does practically nothing to stop it. Kyrie Irving wants Giddey one-on-one. That could be a bad decision, or it could be favorable, but either way, I guess this is how they want to end the half. Kyrie Irving trying to drive down the clock as much as possible. He puts it in, and he does get it. Boston hits it, and now Giddey, I don't know if that was on time, but it doesn't matter. Not the final score. The score at the half is 35 Pyongyang, 27 Boston. Keep in mind, the team that led at halftime, actually no, that would be an incorrect stat. Never mind. Ignore me on that. I gotta fucking set this goddamn tweet.
It's not about getting the quick shots, it's about getting the good shot. And if you want to know how that approach is working, just check out their field goal percentage.
After losing home court advantage with a split in the first two games, how important is it for them to come up?
And we're back with you as these two teams do battle in their quest for an NBA championship. You look at Kyrie Irving.
No fight, man. We don't give a shit.
Man, he's been
and now we're back for the third quarter. Pyongyang's going to start with the ball. They have an opportunity here to make it a double-digit lead, and what a shot. They succeed. It is now a 10-point lead in favor of Pyongyang. Boston, however, they want a repeat of the third quarter in the last game where they managed to play a bit from behind and make something happen. LeBron James, you have to believe it'll start with him, and it very well may have right there. The second half, of course, both teams have only shot once, and they made both shots. But statistics seemingly do favor Pyongyang by a decent margin. Nikola Jokic against Clint Capella. That has been an interesting matchup. And Kawhi Leonard, nobody even close to him. Pyongyang with a three, with possibly the biggest lead of the series so far. At least the biggest lead outside of garbage time. Paul George with an open three of his own, and he answers right back with a three. Kawhi Leonard against Christian Wood. This has been an interesting matchup. Christian Wood's done fairly well defensively on Kawhi Leonard, but not enough to make a difference. And then Kawhi ends up with a mismatch on Kyrie Irving, and like clockwork, Kawhi Leonard puts it in for 2. Now Jimmy Butler is defending Paul George. Paul George trying to get some room, but he gets it to Capella, but Capella is not a shooter. LeBron James is, though, and he hits it, but his foot was on the line. That's only going to be 2. Ben Simmons shakes his man free, but he's met by Clint Capella in the paint. He's going to stay outside the paint past to Leonard, who was open for a second, but Christian Wood with good recovery. Now it's Jokic versus LeBron, and Jokic gets the better of that matchup in that possession. Boston's managed to keep it from getting too out of control, but in the NBAT, a 10-point lead is basically a death sentence unless you get something going. So that's what Boston has to do now if they want to win Game 3 and take the series lead. Paul George with a little shake and bake, but in the end it doesn't matter. Kawhi Leonard gets the ball, going against Paul George now. Kawhi Leonard, Jimmy Butler wants it, but Kawhi Leonard did not give it to him. Jokic was wide open at the three-point line. They didn't pass it to him, but it ends in an easy layup for Kawhi Leonard, so I guess it doesn't matter. It all worked out. This game is getting out of hand, and I guess Boston realizes it. Boston wants a timeout.
Boston making some changes.
Boston's going to go with some substitutions. And Dwight Howard's in. It looks like Jordan Poole's in for Kyrie Irving. I don't know how I feel about that. Kyrie Irving, when Boston was really going, Kyrie Irving was the driving force of the offense, but I guess Paul George thinks he can do it this time. As I was saying before, Paul George makes that 3. When Boston's offense was at its best, Kyrie Irving was firing on all cylinders. So taking him out for Jordan Poole might be a mistake, but not if Paul George can keep getting open shots like that. Ben Simmons scores on LeBron James. And Boston just can't seem to break the glass ceiling that's been put above them by Pyongyang. Dwight Howard passes to Jordan Poole, who tries to get a good look, and no good, brought down by P.J. Washington. They find himself in the hands of Jeremy Grant, and then Ben Simmons, the coward, won't shoot a 3. They try a lob, and it's intercepted by Paul George. Jordan Poole attacking again. Jordan Poole thinks better of it. LeBron James doesn't. He goes against Kawhi, and he gets the and 1.
That is the savvy of LeBron on display.
Now LeBron James is going to shoot a free throw. A pretty mediocre free throw shooter, but he gets it here. He converts the and 1. It's an 8-point game. Every little point that Boston can get could be vital down the stretch. And if the ball finds itself in the hands of Jaylen Brown, and then Jeremy Grant back to Jaylen Brown, covered by Paul George. He passes Jeremy Grant, who gets a decent shot, and he gets it. A late contest from Dwight Howard, but it does not matter. Pyongyang is back up by double digits again. Every time it seems like Boston gets something going, Pyongyang answers right back. Paul George with a long 2, and he gets it. Paul George really is trying to shoulder the burden of the offense. A surprisingly quiet game from LeBron as the Warriors call for a timeout. You only have a minute and a half left in the third. You have to believe Boston wants to get this lead down to around 5-6 points, 2 possessions at least, to make a game out of this. Jokic to Giddey to George, Butler, he's being covered by George. Butler trying to make something happen. Paul George playing as good defense as he can, and it does not matter. Jimmy Butler gets it to go. And look at the difference between the shooting percentages. The Warriors have scored on 85% of their shots. Boston only 61. But Paul George gets an easy look. Paul George is carrying the Blue Devils. Josh Giddey gets free from Kyrie Irving, and now he has a mismatch against Bol.
50 seconds left in the third quarter of the game.
But it looks like he's not going to take advantage of it. He's going to give it to P.J. Washington. Goes to Butler, who's covered by Paul George, and now we got Jimmy Butler with an easy lane to the hoop. He gets it in. 11-point lead once again. Boston just cannot catch a break.
the physical defense.
Paul George
stifle him at all.
wants to continue his great offense. Cam Reddish for three. It bounces off the rim, and it finds itself in the hands of Jeremy Grant. Jeremy Grant gives it to Jimmy Butler. He gives it to Paul George. God, I'm getting my names mixed up here. I'm talking too fast. To Josh Giddey against Bol Bol. No good. Bol Bol pulls down the rebound.
Bol gets to Irving.
Bol Bol gives it to Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving trying to find an opening. He puts it up, and no good. And that is the end of the third. And this is disastrous for Boston and their championship hopes. Pyongyang leads.
And now a sneak peek into the huddle with Greg Popovich.
Now it's time for the fourth quarter. 6 more minutes. That's all Pyongyang needs for the win. Boston's going to start with the ball. LeBron with a somewhat deep three, and he drains it.
LeBron James is out there with Wood. That's Kyrie Irving.
It is now an 8-point game. All things considered, that's actually pretty manageable. But not if you keep doing this. Jaylen Brown with a huge three. There's 5.5 minutes left, but that's a lot of time left. But with how Boston's been defending Pyongyang, they might not have enough time in the world. Josh Richardson with the ball. Christian Wood for three. No good. Kawhi Leonard against LeBron James. This is the match that was the focal point of this series. It's been the key. Kawhi Leonard has dominated every game, and he does it again with that dunk. LeBron James, however, he's been relatively quiet. If Boston wants to win this, they need the best of LeBron James, and he lobs it to Clint Capella.
6'10" Capella showing you some bounce on that alley-oop.
Kawhi Leonard trying to shake Christian Wood, and he lobs it up to Jaylen Brown.
What an athlete this kid is. Brown, it's just fun.
You have to believe it's that second quarter, that 18-11 scoring difference that really killed the Blue Devils. There's still plenty of time, but with how they're scoring and how they're defending, I don't know if there's enough. And Josh Richardson misses the shot. Pyongyang with a chance to extend the lead even further. Jaylen Brown against Kyrie Irving. Passes to Jimmy Butler. To Jokic, who's posting up. He puts it up. No good. Kyrie Irving comes away with it. Kyrie Irving, wide open three. Bang! He hits it, but it's a 10-point game. There's still a chance for Boston. It's not completely out of control, but it's not looking good. There's still a chance. 10 points with just under 4 minutes is manageable, especially if Kawhi Leonard's going to miss golden opportunities like that. LeBron James, he needs to wake up. He might be the most important piece to a Boston comeback. Kawhi Leonard, not Kyrie Irving, Jesus Christ. But Kyrie Irving hits it. It's an 8-point game, and suddenly things looks possible. It looks possible. Especially with Christian Wood somehow, some way playing effective defense on Kawhi Leonard. Ben Simmons just being stared at by Jokic, going at LeBron James. Jokic with a long two, he hits it, and now it's a 10-point game again. Boston needs to tighten up on defense. That is their only hope, and you have to hope that's what the coach is going to tell them right now. A 10-point lead, you have just under 3 minutes left. It's do or die now. It's do or die. If you're going to perform that 10-point comeback and take the win in Game 3, it's right now. Boston has to act now if they want this win. Paul George against Jimmy Butler, that is a questionable choice in such a do-or-die situation. That could cost them this game. And you have to believe one good shot, one momentum-shifting shot will be the final nail in the coffin. And Kawhi Leonard thought about it. He gives it to Jokic. Jokic against Capella, Ben Simmons. Imagine if he popped that three, but no, he'll take the two in the paint, and he gets it. It's a 12-point game, and that just might be night-night for Boston.
Get to the fast break.
That is a disheartening loss after going through hell in Game 2 and stealing home court to lose it almost immediately on your home court and in such an embarrassing fashion. That has to be absolutely demoralizing. You have to believe Pyongyang's going to run down the clock as much as possible, give Boston as little a chance of a comeback as possible, but Kawhi Leonard, ever the killer he is, wants to draw as much blood as possible. He's not content with just running down the clock, and Paul George trying to give the fans something to be excited about, but it's too little too late. 10 points. It's theoretically possible to do it, but at this point, it's game over, especially if Kawhi Leonard's going to hit shots like that. Kawhi Leonard with an insane performance. Look at those stats. Paul George with a long two, and Paul George has put on a clinic of his own. Phenomenal game from Paul George. Kyrie Irving even chipped in. But in the end, it's just too much. And I have to say, I think the biggest problem for Boston is the lack of appearances from their best player in LeBron James. LeBron James has been too quiet this whole series. If Boston wants to win Game 4 and Game 5, they need LeBron James. And that is what I mean. If we got more of that, Boston might actually be in this game or even winning. But the King has waited too long to make his appearance. Yeah, Pyongyang is not going to let their grip loosen at all in this game. Even, you can't estimate a team with Kyrie Irving and Paul George with a charged good draw from Jimmy Butler.
Excellent example of toughness and physicality on defense.
This is
right in the middle of things and made a play.
This is possibly one of the most demoralizing losses I've seen in a finals game, no less. And now Pyongyang's just getting disrespectful. They're just showing absolutely no respect for their opponents. And God bless Boston. The game's over, but they're still trying. God bless them. But in the end, it didn't even matter, because when the final buzzer rang, the winner of Game 3 taking a 2-1 lead in the NBAT Finals are the Pyongyang Warriors, 76-66. And now Pyongyang is just one game, one more victory away from yet another championship. Boston one loss away from their championship dreams being stolen once again. Now, let's see the statistics of this game. Paul George, amazing performance. Kyrie Irving, amazing performance. LeBron, pretty good game on his end, but you need to do more when you're the best player on your team. Christian Wood, decent job. Like the rest of the series, has done effective on Kawhi Leonard, but there's only so much you can do. Dwight Howard, Bol, Clint Capella, Jordan Poole did about what you'd expect, but the bench, Jordan Poole, Reddish, and Richardson, they need to hit their shots. That's vital. Then you go over to the Warriors, Kawhi Leonard with an absolute masterclass. Only one foul. Hit his free throws, only 1-3, and he still managed to hit 27 points with 5 assists on insane efficiency. Incredible game for Pyongyang, and they're one win away from a championship.